All
It's a
the
good
characters are very well
Yeah.
defined.
Have you had
and
any of the
it's
football
funny.
bits as well? Because I thought the football bits are quite well done.
Yeah.
And do you know what's weird is because I've been listening to that Brett Goldstein podcast from the beginning. He talks to someone, I can't remember who it is, and they're talking about like the fact that there's never been like a decent football film, and there's never been a decent football show and stuff like this. And
There has been a decent football
yeah, they
show.
do mention a certain ones, so like Fever Pitch, but there's not like, with Fever Pitch, there's not much. The action's not very good. You've got Goal where the action's okay, but then the film's a bit shit.
The Goal's like a soap opera. Isn't
When
it?
Saturday
It's not-
Comes
it's
is again a bit dot.
Yeah.
I mean, the best one probably Mike Bassett, England manager, but there's not a lot of football in it. Is
You can't say that.
Or Bend It Like Beckham.
No, you can't say
Well,
that.
what are then? There's not a lot of good.
Escape to
Oh,
Victory.
Escape to Victory. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's how old is that now?
So that's probably the best football film.
Because other than like you've got one's loosely based in football, so you've got like Football Factory and all that.
Yeah.
There's never been a good TV show about. I mean, you had Dream Team, which actually wasn't the football stuff wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad. It
because
was
they
the-
used Sky Sports football images, didn't they? And they like recoloured the. I mean, it
Yeah.
probably looks shit now, but I remember it at the
At the
time
time
it looked
looking
okay.
alright, yeah.
So that wasn't bad. And then you had Footballers' Wives, which is like was less about the football.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it was funny when he was talking about that, and I was like, oh, because he's one of the writers on it as well.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I wonder how that
good.
link happened, where because Jason Sudeikis did the character as Sudeikis, I don't know how you say his name,
I
but
don't know.
did that character as like a YouTube thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it's obviously been padding out into. But I think it's really good. It's the football bits in it are decent, I think.
But like I say, I'm 2 episodes in. I just need to find the time to watch. I'm there. I think it is decent.
No, I blitzed through the first series. Yeah, and now that's why I'm like, Apple have done me because they're releasing it weekly, the second series. So I thought, I'll just blitz through it and cancel my Apple.
Yeah.
Now that I have to pay for it.
Have you got to pay for it now?
Yeah, because it's been over a year since. So when you get an Apple device, you get it for free.
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
you?
yeah.
It's been over a year.
So now it's just coming out.
Yeah.
Just get dodgy Fire Stick, mate. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
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 That's what I hope.
You can't have a dodgy Fire Stick, mate.
You
Not in
can.
this day and age.
Of course you can. It's great. Watch anything. Anything you want.
Yeah. But no, you persevere with it. It's good.
Yeah, I will watch it. I will. Yeah. Thinking about it, my favourite football film.
Oh, there must be one we're missing. I remember. Go on. See if it's the same.
It won't be because it's not really about football.
Okay.
It's ID.
Oh, that's Hooligans though.
Yeah, I love that.
So you got loads of that,
was
though. ID
fucking
and
brilliant.
Football Factory and Green Street.
Yeah. But ID was
Where
great.
Charlie Hunnam's accent was so bad that I thought he was American. So it's like, he's got to be American because he does not know how to do an English accent. Turned out he was a Geordie. But yeah, ID is good. ID is good. They're
Did
not
you know
bad,
there's an
though.
ID too?
No.
I didn't know this, and then someone said, I was listening to a podcast, and he said, "Oh, you were in ID too," and I was like, "What?" I looked it up a few years ago. There was an ID too.
But do you know what? There's so many
I've
of them
seen it,
films
but-
where they've carried on. So you'll know the first one, and the first one will probably have an actor in it that you recognise.
That's
It's
decent, yeah.
like Rise of the Foot Soldiers, I think.
Oh my
I think
God.
there's about 5 of them now. But wasn't Sean Bean in the first one or something?
There was someone, yeah.
And then
That was
since then,
advertised
there's people
quite
that keep
recently,
turning up
yeah.
like that. Tamar Hussein, is it? Who's like seems to be in all these random things. He's like big
He's the
fella.
guy that was in EastEnders. There's the guy that was in EastEnders.
There's a lot of familiar
that look
faces
really- yeah.
that you always see turning up in these
Yeah.
films, and you're just like, wow, there's some sort of like
East End wide boy.
underground
kinda like
film
yeah.
thing going on where these things are still getting made, and
Rise
people
of
are
the
still
Foot
putting money
Soldiers.
into it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was that one that's got like loads of like
There
about
is, you're right.
3 or 4
Yeah.
different versions
But
of it now.
the
so.
first one was decent. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
What I
wouldn't
was
have
gonna
it.
say, football ones, 2 like out there ones. Well, the most out there, Shaolin Soccer. Have you ever seen that?
Never heard of it.
I mean, it's insane.
I've never
But
heard
it's
of it.
really
What is
fun.
it?
So did you ever see Kung Fu Hustle?
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it's that sort of kung fu comedy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Shaolin Soccer was before Kung Fu Hustle. It's the same guy.
Okay.
It's mental. It's like the Hurricanes, but as like a film done with martial arts and stuff. So there's people like kicking the ball and it's like on fire and stuff like that.
What?
It's mental.
I've
I
never
saw
heard
it
of this.
at a random person's house that we went back to after a pub and was like, oh, I've got this film to watch. Put it on. It's just like, what is this insanity?
Okay,
But,
so that's
yeah.
one that. Yeah.
And the other one, which I quite enjoyed, is Mean Machine.
Oh, you Mean Machine?
I thought that was good.
It's not
The
bad.
prison one, yeah.
I mean, Vinnie Jones.
Yeah.
But,
I also like The Longest Yard.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Not
it's just something
bad.
about that format that seems to work for me.
Great Escape.
Yeah.
Longest Yard. Mean
But
Machine.
there must be one we're forgetting, though.
Yeah, I think we've gone
Must
through them all,
be.
mate. It doesn't really translate, does it? Let's face it. It doesn't really translate
But
to
it should,
film.
though, right?
It should, but the cost of making it
But
must be
surely
mental.
I mean, a gritty one now would be really good. That's like sort of focusing on like a player going through his career and like the agents getting involved and like all the hangers on. And
Oh, it'd be a great TV series, like a drama kind of like long Apple series or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
That didn't Gary Lineker have a TV show? Or there was a TV show about Gary Lineker.
No. What?
Or it was something. Sure it was like a guy goes to Barcelona. It was sort of like mirroring Gary Lineker's career.
That's gold, isn't it? Isn't it
Nah,
gold?
nah.
No?
Nah, because he was like a Brazilian. This was an English guy. This was an ITV show. Definitely. I can't remember what it's called. Oh, mate, that's going to bug the shit out of me. Because I remember watching it when I was a kid. Guy goes to Barcelona.
I mean, it sounds like gold. It sounds like, you know, that kind of
Yeah.
premise. Because wasn't he a Geordie guy?
But I don't think they showed much of the football.
Was he a Geordie in goal? Like he went to Newcastle or something, and then he moved on. Goal
No, he-
2.
no, he-
like one of
No,
the
'cause he
sequels.
wasn't he a South American, but he
No.
played for Newcastle.
Well-
All in the game. That's what it was called.
All in the game.
Yeah.
Nah, never
No?
heard of it. When was this? What year are we talking?
So I put in Gary Lineker 90s TV show and it came up. So 1993. A young English football player is transferred to a top Spanish team and finds that life there is not as easy as he expected.
When was this on? Like lunchtime BBC? Are we talking? Or are we talking prime time?
Oh, Warren Clark was in it from ID.
Oh, really? Pop it up.
No, this was like late night because it was a bit steamy. You know what I mean?
That's what you're after. When,
How random.
What, 93?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
12 years old or whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah.
I bet it's really late.
Yeah.
Like tame,
Oh, massively. But yeah, no, I would have been 10. So it was just like, oh, there's a chance of a bit of boob in here, maybe.
Hello and welcome to the Football Humans. We are a man down. Mr. John Berry is, I was going to say, sunning himself in Scotland. What do we think? There's sunshine in
Maybe a little
Scotland?
bit of sunshine, but from some of the videos, I'd say he's like greying himself.
He's greying himself in Scotland.
Like
but-
spitting image John Major. Do you remember that?
Yeah. But the videos we see, I mean, he's
It
seen
looks amazing.
He's seen Wales. He's not
Not
seen
the country.
No, wait, no.
Yeah.
But he's not seen the Loch Ness monster. But
Yes.
he's been around that area. He's been,
Mate, it looks like Lord of the Rings territory. It's amazing.
and it made me think, oh my God, that is on our doorstep. We should be
I've
exploring.
never been to Scotland.
We should
I've
go
never
there.
ever been to Scotland, but I've been to New Zealand, and I've seen that stuff that I was like, when he sent the videos, I was like, wow, that looks like Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
which is in New Zealand, which
Yeah.
is thousands of miles away, when Scotland's just up there. So I did think the same thing. I was like, God, I really should go there.
I've never been. I've never been higher than Edinburgh. You know, that kind of, which is basically just across the border, isn't it?
Yeah.
A little bit up. It looks absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It really does.
Fantastic.
But so you just stuck with me, Mr. Andrew Wragg, Liverpool fan, and Mr. Michael Felton.
Hello. Well,
Chelsea.
But I mean, we've had a Mikel Arteta bad start to the season, haven't we? Because
we have.
We've been hit by a bout of COVID at the start. That's why we weren't here last week.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm out of quarantine now.
Out of quarantine.
Double jabbed, I must add, though.
Yeah.
Still got it.
There
you go.
Bastard COVID.
Yeah. And now we're a man down. So.
Now we're a man down. Yeah. It's literally.
We're having selection nightmares.
We are. But let's kick off with Arsenal, because I think it'd be quite funny. Like, he's got to go, hasn't he? Like,
No.
I'm sorry. Like, he's got.
No.
He's got.
Do you know
to
what?
go.
I don't get. Weirdly, I mean, I'll be the first person to pile on Arsenal and throw a few digs in, but I don't get it. I don't get the. I mean, I think
He spent millions.
I think they're
on a
massively.
B team. He's overshot his budget.
Yeah, to be fair.
On average players
fair.
that aren't adding anything
Yeah.
to that Arsenal team.
I was talking to Steve today, and then also from watching the analysis on Match of the Day last night of Wright and Shearer, I did start to be like, okay, maybe there is more problems than I, as not an Arsenal fan, thought. Because from the outside view, obviously beat by Brentford, really bad. Got beat by Chelsea yesterday, but Lukaku was amazing. The COVID thing, I think they're massively playing on too much, because a lot of those players would not be in that first team. I mean, maybe, okay, Lacazette, Aubameyang, White potentially. Would White have done much better?
Nah.
Not really, because Holding wasn't really on Lukaku, it was Mari anyway.
Yeah.
So, and it's 2 games in. It's like, but
it's what's gone before. It's what's gone before those 2 games.
Obviously, Arsenal fans. And did you like the game yesterday when it was 2-0? They got booed off at half time. They did come out, give it a go. I would say the game was over though.
They played better in the second half.
The game was done though, wasn't it?
There was no way they were getting back in that game.
But the worry was, which because I kept hearing all this stuff beforehand. I was like, yeah, they got beat by Brentford, and it's a bad result. But Brentford were on it, the atmosphere was great in that game. It was like their first game back. You know what they're going to be like. But then, what I didn't really think about is, they should have been prepared for that. They should have known that was going to happen. Fans are back. Brentford's first game in the Premier League. They know what Brentford are like, because if you've done your homework, which I mean, I've watched Brentford a few times. They've got people that specifically watch the teams they're going to play against, so they must know that they're like a high pressing, high energy team, and that's where the problem is. And when they mentioned it again yesterday, like Shearer and Wright, and they were like, well, they know what's going to happen. They know how Chelsea play. They know how Chelsea play with a wing back, so they're going to be playing with width, and Arsenal didn't. Were dragged over from one side to another, and they know that Lukaku's there, and then they need to stop the ball going into Lukaku, which they didn't do.
That first goal was comical.
That is a very good point, because that's 2 games in a row then where they're
not
either
prepared. They're not prepared for it.
Exactly what Ian Wright said. It's like they either not prepared for it, or they have prepared for it and they can't do it. So
they're not good enough.
Yeah, but
at the moment they're literally.
I have to turn that heater off. Absolutely roasting now. I think it's melting my hat.
It was a bit hot.
Yeah, Jesus.
No, I would say they're not prepared in terms of they're just not at it. They're not. They're a B team. They're literally nothing. They're like I think.
I think.
Looking at Chelsea, so take Chelsea, right? When you have Frank Lampard, you're like doing the right things. Results aren't going that way. I think Arsenal need a new manager to go in and take that team, as high as it can go. Arteta's not their man.
Yeah. See,
I just don't think as a manager he's not the right person.
I think it's like this goes to like the spending again, but it's like the only the reason I brought up to Steve is because he always has to go at Chelsea. I'm like, well, you lot have spent a lot, and he was like to me today, actually, what you said before is right, because we have bought a lot.
Yeah.
But he made a very good point today that he's like, that 300 million that we spent, if we'd have bought Van Dijk 72, Lukaku 100 million, and Jack Grealish 100 million, and that would have, those three players would have been so much better than buying a scatter of like whatever,
just random
15, 12, whatever it is, players.
Yeah.
For that same amount of money, and it's absolutely right.
It is. 100%.
If you're going to spend that amount of money, pick your players wisely.
Yeah. Recruitment wise. Yeah.
Spend and throw the money at them because you know they'll work.
It's entertaining to watch Arsenal TV though, isn't it? Watching the clips of Arsenal fans
the
just
thing is,
throwing the toys out
of
the pram.
This is what I would say though.
It's very funny.
Do you not? Arsenal fans are quite fickle though, do you not think?
100%.
Because I mean, they were cheering their team, and then at half time they're getting booed off. Half time, it's 2-0. All right, fair enough. They hadn't done some of the basics there, but come on, man. Stick with them for a little bit and see if they come out second half and give it a go, which they did, you know.
I did read a statistic, and I wish I'd written it down for this, but I'm pretty sure it was something to the effect of Arteta has lost more games than Wenger had in his last 8 years at Arsenal.
I mean, if that's right, yeah, that is mad.
And they really wanted Wenger out, didn't they? Maybe they should.
Grass is not always green.
Yeah. Is Arteta a lame duck? Is he kind of like one of those kind of David Moyes after Ferguson kind of managers?
I mean, I would say he's lucky.
He's lucky to still
in a
be
job.
there.
I would say there's a reason why some of the other clubs do better, because they are more ruthless, and that Frank Lampard goes to show that.
Ruthless.
I think out of the two, Frank Lampard is unlucky to have lost his job, and Arteta is lucky to have still been in his job.
Yeah.
But that goes into the winning mentality of the club, and I think there's something there in that structure. I mean, ruthless as it is at Chelsea, there's something that works and makes the team win, makes it tick
sense,
over.
yeah.
And it's the same at other clubs. I mean, City is a different sort of story, because they've not had that issue for a while where someone's not winning, but even they've been ruthless in times. And so United have to a degree as well. They've given Solskjaer a bit of time, but now they've thrown money at him. If he has a run of bad results, he won't be there for a long time.
No, they'll get rid of it.
Yeah. If it comes to, I don't think it'll happen, but if it gets to Christmas and they're like, they've lost a good few games,
and they're struggling,
then he'll be gone. I think that's a given. I think Arsenal, with Arteta, they're allowing it to be like, this is a building process, but how long does that last for? How long does that building process go on for? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When's the return?
And when is the return?
Well, exactly.
Because last season you could write it off because they were mediocre, whatever. If this season they finished mid-table, is that good enough? Is that kind of a building block? If they're out of any European competition and all that sort of stuff,
are used to being a winning team, so that's not, of course, not.
They're used to top four. They're used to being challenging and being top four.
No way is it good enough for them. So, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for them, to be honest, because the thing is, the players you're relying on are the players that have also been linked with leaving. So you've got Xhaka, who's now been playing well, but was going to be going to Roma at the start of the summer. Now signed a new 3-year contract or 2-year contract, whatever it is. You've got Aubameyang, who's been linked with going every now and again, and was linked only a couple of weeks ago, last week, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Going.
But Arteta has made Aubameyang go from a goal machine. You want him in your fantasy football team. That's how I judge all the other teams.
You make him captain as well.
Made him captain.
He's not captain material.
Now he's nothing.
I'm sorry, but he's a great player, but he's not what you want as captain.
He just
you need someone
bothered, does he?
And Ramsdale was a signing, not for me.
That's all
personally.
I think he's better than Leno. I actually do.
I don't.
But
I've not seen it. I've not seen
someone
that.
Pointed out, if you think about it, the last 4 seasons or whatever, he's been relegated every season.
Well, no, it's
something like that.
I saw that he went to Chesterfield, they got relegated. He was at Bournemouth, they got relegated. He was at where was he? Sheffield United.
Sheffield United got relegated.
Granted, he's not going to get relegated with Arsenal. and he's the teams he's been in have not been good enough to stay up, and he's not had, it's not been his fault. But from what I've seen of it, you do see teams that threaten relegation where you're like, oh, this keeper has saved you loads of points. I don't know if he has saved them that many points.
Leno made a great save second half.
Amazing save.
Brilliant. That was a
amazing save.
Stick on goal, wasn't it? And he was a
Lukaku,
really great.
He was like,
how the hell did he save that?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great save. He should have buried that, but it was a great save.
I actually quite enjoy watching Arsenal fail. I think it's great. I think Arteta's the wrong person.
Well, don't get me wrong, like I said.
I think a different manager in there would get something more out of that team. I just don't think they're playing for him.
Do you know what?
The way that he wants to play.
I'm not a massive fan of Arteta either, but I will stick up for him because, well, to a degree, because a lot of what I'm going to say, he's bought a lot of these players, but the main thing for me that I see all the time with them is there's just not fight in them.
No, there's no leadership. There's nothing there.
But that's more ingrained across the whole of that club. Then it's not just what happens on that pitch every game. This is more from across the board. And what it is, which is weird, which is not what it usually is at other clubs, it's the youngsters that look like they've got the fight, and it's the youngsters that are pushing them forward. And it's like
Saka. We know Saka's a talent. We know he's got in that England squad on merit.
Yeah.
But he just looked a bit kind of, I don't know, was he struggling for fitness? Was he he looked a bit jaded against Chelsea?
I think
he's
not fit. I don't think he's not 100%. But they had to put him in
because they didn't have anyone else.
Who else.
Yeah.
Well, they had other people, but it's like you can't appease fans if you're not playing. Yeah.
How excited are you? How excited are you watching a Chelsea team?
Mate, massively excited.
You keep Lukaku just looks happy. Looks.
There was points yesterday where I was talking to myself it was like yeah,
it's just amazing.
Yeah, because it's like it's so mad because obviously he supported Chelsea as a kid.
Yeah.
We bought him. He was tipped as the next Didier Drogba. I saw some of the stuff he did for Anderlecht. And he was like, there's potential here. Didn't quite work and no matter what people say of we sold him and something about, he wasn't the player he is now.
No.
And he wasn't even that player at West Brom, at Everton, scored lots of goals, but he wasn't that player.
He isn't the player that he is now. Yeah, definitely.
And Man United, I feel that they didn't utilise him the best.
No.
He
scored a hell of a lot of goals.
He still scored a lot of goals, but he was played out wide a lot there for some reason. But he's come back and he looks like a totally different player. Well, he is a totally different player to what we had.
The way he held the ball up, slotted in, was it Reece James, and then ran on and scored his goal. That was proper.
It was Drogba.
Basically what you've been missing.
Drogba. Yeah, and that's what it was. He was tipped as the next Drogba when we bought him, and that's why I was excited. And this is what this is what I've been expecting.
Is there a weak link in that Chelsea team?
Yeah, there's weak links.
What would you say?
I think defensively we still have our issues
Alonso
now and again.
And Azpilicueta.
No, I'd say both the fullbacks yesterday got caught going better attackers than they are potentially defending, like James and Alonso, definitely. Yeah, I'd say sometimes.
How's your midfield?
Fuck about a bit too much in midfield.
Because you weren't a massive fan of Kovacic and
Jorginho. Yeah, no, Jorginho. I think both of them are great players. I mean, when they play together it don't. I mean, yesterday was fine and they played well together. It's just sometimes they get a bit sort of tippy-tappy with the ball, and it's like short passes too much, and they play dodgy passes at the back.
What stood out for me that scared me was looking at your bench. Because when I looked at your bench, I was like, that is a full team right there.
Yeah. I mean,
every single player on your bench could be in.
Having Lukaku and then looking at the bench now that everyone's pretty much fit, you're like,
you've got a team.
There is and it's not a massive squad. I mean, it is a massive squad, but there's a lot of players in this massive squad that will never get a look in. Players that will probably go out on loan soon, like Barclays and Drinkwaters and Bakayokos, who are still knocking around all those brands. But the ones yesterday, that starting 11 and those players.
And those players on the bench, you were like, wow, that's a
decent, mate, very decent. It was like Trevor Chalobah played so well last week, and he was out of the team. Unlucky for him. Silva. Not played yet.
Kante didn't start.
Kante was injured. He's just
injured?
coming back from a knock, so he came on. Played quite well. He's still got Chilwell left back as like cover for Alonso. I mean, Alonso's come back into. He was going to be sold. Maybe he seems to have done well pre-season, so he's back in. So there's a lot of cover, and then Pulisic obviously wasn't there yesterday either, so he needs to come in. You got Werner, Ziyech, Mount. And Havertz all for those positions going forward,
and just keep Lukaku still
and I mean Jorginho has been brilliant the last couple of years, but he has his moments. There was that's the only thing. There's just it's not how they play and how good they are. It's just something about like sometimes they just switch off. It's like sometimes just switch off.
Watching Liverpool,
that's what I'm gonna say because. The big test is next week.
We'll
see how well Lukaku does against Van Dijk.
Let's see what happens, because we knew it was a big loss last season, but watching Virgil van Dijk spread a ball the way he did. Like, did you watch the Liverpool game?
Yeah.
Like,
highlights.
He literally took it, and just sprayed it out to Trent, like, who was in an advanced position. Like, an amazing, just so pinpoint accurate. Like, that's what we've missed. We've missed our quarterback, basically.
Like Klopp said, it's like having a new signing again, isn't it?
Literally. And we knew it was a big miss, but like when you watch him actually play, you go, wow, he was a big miss. The thing about Liverpool is, I don't know about Jota being our centre forward. I mean, he scored 2 goals. 2 and 2, and he's a great player.
Where would you go, Jota or Firmino? Or would you prefer someone else?
I don't know. Like, if someone said to us, we can have Mbappe tomorrow, would you put Mbappe in and what?
No, but Mbappe sort of comes off the right a lot of the time. He's not the guy who plays down the middle either. He's not the guy you're going to put down the middle. Although he probably will for PSG this year because they're going to have Neymar and Messi. But generally he would be out coming in. I would have thought. No?
More Salah's position.
But I mean, if you're gonna,
I don't know.
If you're gonna say like, you're gonna ask me whether you'd be a better team with Mbappe, the answer is yes. Even if you play him down the middle.
I just don't. It seems weird to me that Firmino is on the bench.
Would you rather him than? Would you put him in ahead of Jota? Because this is bearing in mind that Firmino didn't have such a good season last year, isn't it?
It didn't, but I think. He's a confidence player, Firmino, and he adds so much to the team that I think we get more out of Mane and Salah. We get more out of Mane and Salah with Firmino in the team.
Yeah, well, that's the.
Where.
Thank you so much. Cheers.
Whereas I think Jota would be better as a more impact sub.
Yeah.
But I can see. I mean, what am I to know? Like, because he scored 2 and 2 and he's fucking leading the line great. Took his goal really well.
Yeah, I think because
it's it just feels weird.
Yeah, but this time of the season is always like that. It's like all this stuff, like what I'm reading today is like Chelsea title challenges and all this and all that, and then you got
but when you think
Liverpool back to their best. The test I think is next week.
Yeah. When
we see Liverpool, Chelsea play against each other, that's more of a test.
But I just think, thinking back as a football fan, right, and thinking back of Liverpool teams, I'm really fucking envious of you having Lukaku. You like a striker to be a striker. You like.
Well, that's why.
You like a focal point.
That's why we've been so we've been missing it since. Well, I was going to say Drogba, but Costa was a great focal point as well.
Yeah. You just like you enjoy having an out and out striker.
Yeah.
You enjoy having a Fowler and Owen.
That's why.
all
Jimmy
of us
Floyd.
Yeah.
Someone that you put teletext on, you're like, oh,
Scored.
Jimmy scored again.
Scored,
when it goes
yeah.
1-0 and you like guess who it's going to be, just
It's your striker.
Hasselbank.
It's your striker.
Yeah.
Whereas with Liverpool, it's like Mane, Jota, Salah. They're not strikers.
No, but the thing Salah
it's
scores
weird.
striker numbers, so.
But it's weird.
And Mane has done before.
But
Hasn't
they're not strikers. They're not out
He's
and
got a
out
hell of a
strikers.
goal of the week in Mane as well.
Yeah.
I
don't really know what I'm complaining about. I don't know. It's a weird kind of hark back to I want an out and out. I want an Mbappe.
The thing is,
or I want like a Marky Ibrahimovic.
I would say
you know.
I didn't realise it at the time when we bought Lukaku, and even when we were linked to Lukaku. When we were linked to him, I was like, okay, mate, yeah, I get it. I thought it was too much money. But then watching him yesterday, I was like, there's not many players like him, and if you look at how most of the Premier League teams play now, he's the player they all need.
Yeah.
Man City, perfect for him. A different style of play. Chelsea, obviously, is perfect for. Liverpool, like you were saying, would add a different dimension. Because you've got the two wide guys, and then you've got him down the middle, the hold-up play. Arsenal, obviously, would take him. Like, the only team that have got someone already, but it's a different type of striker, is Harry Kane. It's a different type of centre forward.
All right, you've said the word.
United would have him.
You've said the trigger word, Harry Kane. Is he going to make that move to Man City? And if he doesn't, what are the implications?
Before we go into that, what I just said, I'm just wondering actually now, because I just said United would have him, as in Lukaku, realising that they did have him. But do you think they would have him now?
No.
They still wouldn't?
No.
For what reason?
Because I think United are invested in Mason Greenwood, and I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is really pushing having a nucleus of sort of that young talent that he kind of went through.
Yeah.
And I think he has a lot of trust and a lot of faith in Mason Greenwood to be
he should.
really great, and he's obviously pushing him. He's got an old hand in Cavani. I don't think Man United need Lukaku right now. I think they wasted him under Mourinho, and I think he's better. He is better than what they used him for.
Yeah.
But right now, probably not.
No. Okay. Fair.
And I don't think they need Harry Kane. But I do think Man City fucking need Harry Kane.
Yeah. The only thing
saying
I'm
this after they've just won 5-0.
I know. But then if you look at them last weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll come against Spurs.
Because I mean,
that's when they needed a centre forward.
Because Spurs. What I will say is, and what I did mention before, is why I had a few pints, but why Trigger said Wolves would be in trouble this year is because of Nuno Espirito Santo, and the Wolves teams that he's had have always been so organised. They don't concede that many goals and stuff. So he's already shown that, I think, and it's a good appointment for Spurs, especially now. I know they didn't want him at first, and they went through a load of managers they prefer, but that they never got. But
it's weird watching Spurs because you think Gattuso wouldn't be playing like this. Do you know what I mean? Like he probably.
Well, the thing
he'd be struggling with that.
He's brought Dele Alli back in. He's been playing well, but it's weird to say, but he's a manager that can manage the squad that he's given.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Which is weird to say because you'd feel like if you give him loads of money and throw him, then surely he'd be a great man to do that as well. But I don't know. He's a solid manager. Solid. I mean, they've won both games 1-0 and stuff. They're
going to struggle having Son as a striker.
Without Kane,
they need to either
their squad's a bit thin. Yeah.
Have Kane as a striker and kick on and be like, Kane's our main man. Kane and Son, we know, can work well together. If they're selling Kane and they've got 50 million in the bank, who are they buying? They need to.
But the thing is, they need to decide.
They've got a week.
Soon. They need to decide because they don't want to be stuck in a position where
they don't get anyone.
Where they've decided to sell Harry Kane or he's just on the way out. and they can't get anyone in, so they block the transfers. So then Kane's not happy, Man City. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, and I mean,
it's really interesting. It's like a soap opera.
We've not spoken about this because obviously we didn't have a chance at the time, but it was sort of paved over this fact that he didn't turn up for training.
Yeah.
And we did a little bit actually, didn't we? Like he didn't turn up for training, and then it was sort of like, oh no, this was meant. And it's like, well, hang on, but you said he had a COVID test that he didn't turn up for. He went to Barbados and then ended up going to America or something, or the other way around.
Yeah.
And it was a week late for training and stuff. And it smelt to me like Harry Kane was like, had been told by his representatives, like, you need to force this move through.
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to do that is by not turning up, not playing.
Yeah.
And he's decided against it basically halfway through.
Yeah.
And he's like,
hang on a minute, I'm going to look like
I'm a legend at this club.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be made to look like a dick, and people, if I leave like that, then I'm not going to be
I don't think
he'll ever be booed, but it's going to tarnish it.
Yeah.
But then also,
did you see the Dele Alli video?
I think he also thought that maybe this might not happen now.
Yeah, did you see the Dele Alli video?
No.
So he posted on Instagram a video, and it was really noticeable that Harry Kane was sat on the bus on his own.
Oh really?
No one around him, like just like
a loner at the back of the bus.
Yeah. And you kind of think, oh,
he was good pals with everyone.
Yeah.
But they could be really annoyed that like he's done that he's pushed that through, you know.
Would you though? Would you really? Like, would you?
No. I mean, you can't.
If you had a gentleman's agreement with your owner that said, if we don't win a trophy and we're not in the top 4, you need to let me go because I want to win things.
How old is he?
Whatever. 27, something like that. Yeah. No, but if you had that agreement, if in your head you're like, we've not won anything, I've given my all, like, to this club.
No, definitely,
like, I think
he
seems
totally
like
entitled to leave.
Yeah. And it seems like the deal's going to happen.
And unfortunately for Spurs, I mean, I might be wrong, but it does feel like their time was when Pochettino was there.
Yeah.
If they were going to win something,
for that group of players, it would have happened.
From him, because if you look at like who left from that group, it's quite influential players and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The fact that Vertonghen's gone and Alderweireld's gone, obviously they were getting on and stuff.
Yeah.
But you've lost you've lost your solid base on there, and when they've not really been replaced with equivalent players, I can get where he's coming from, and it's that thing, isn't it? It's that one club mentality against what you want to have as like your sort of footballing legacy and stuff.
I've said before.
And you'll get a different footballing legacy from either ways he decides to go.
I said before, I think Harry Kane at Spurs winning an FA Cup would mean more than 3 trophies at Man City.
What, to who though?
To Harry Kane. To him. He's gone through that whole system. I'm surprised.
What if you were Harry Kane, would you stay then? Would you want to stay?
Yeah. I don't know, there's something about it. Same with Grealish. I'd want to be, like, especially Grealish actually. I'd like, you've gone through all that system. You're playing for your boyhood, like,
no.
club.
But at the end of the day though, he's getting way more money at them, right?
But Villa offered him more money than City.
I know they did.
For his contract.
Yeah, but
it'd mean more to you.
Yeah, but realistically,
when we go back to the films, right? Sean Bean, When Saturday Comes.
Yeah.
That is literally, the film is made because of that kind of like that dream of playing for the club that you love and winning and scoring that fucking extra time goal.
But realistically, how often does that happen?
Every now and again.
Not very often.
Every now and again.
And like
Steven Gerrard, Champions League.
Yeah.
I remember the guy interviewing him. I remember watching the highlight and the guy interviewing him on the pitch. Can you leave it? How could I leave this club? Come on. All that bollocks.
Yeah,
he was
'cause
pretty much
wanted
gone.
to leave at
He was
one
pretty
point.
much gone.
Only because he had death threats.
Shut up.
It is. That's exactly what it was.
Shut up.
His family got death threats.
Nah.
He was like, okay, I won't sign for Chelsea.
Nah, whatever.
That was
Nah,
after he won the Champions League, anyway. I think. Wasn't
It might have been before, actually.
it? I can't remember.
I
Anyway,
can't remember.
He'd won the Champions
If I
League.
was
but he at
Grealish,
Chelsea anyway.
If I was whatever, if I was Grealish, I'd be at Villa. If I was Kane, I would stay at Spurs, and I would just be a
Well, the
legend.
thing is, Grealish was the one that I was sort of like, well, because I mean, at 100 million, I suppose you've got to play him. But I did wonder how often he'd play. But it does look like he's going to be
He's gonna be
straight
in
in
there.
first.
And Sterling was
And it's
dropped to
like
the
what-
bench, so he's fit and he's dropped to the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah.
He's come on, fair
But
enough.
how long does that last, though? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? How
exactly.
long does that? Because
How
this
do you
happens.
keep them all happy?
This happens with all. Yeah, weirdly, I don't know if it's because I'm a Chelsea fan that I always pick this up, but it's like they always talk about Chelsea keeping players happy and stuff, and how hard it is to keep them. I never really hear it at Man City, you know.
How are they happy? How are they happy?
No, but then-
how is Sterling happy?
Okay. We actually had a conversation at work about this, and because we were talking about like a guy Tom at work, is a Chelsea fan as well. That we were talking about players that we've seen that have come back. We've got loads on the books that we've seen during pre-season, like players. You're like, how the fuck are they still there? And it just mentioned that Ross Barkley hasn't got a number this year. And then he was like, I wonder what he's on. And he looked it up. Because we were talking about, like, well, these sort of players that are hanging around and, like, would you not want to go to a club and get game time and play and stuff?
How much is he on a week?
I mean, he's on £5 million a year. So I thought it would be 80 grand, but he's on 97 grand or 92 grand a week.
A week, yeah.
He has to, he basically, so I broke it down to, he basically has a 9 to 5 job, but it's probably more like 8 till 3.
8 till 3, yeah.
And then,
If he can be arsed.
and what
He
he's
doesn't have
doing
to do
then
extra
is doing
training,
like
does he? Yeah.
gym stuff, which saves on a gym membership.
Yeah.
He's running around like playing football, which he loves.
Yeah.
At the end of that, he can probably go swimming,
Yeah.
have a massage,
Play
go to the
FIFA,
ice thing,
play FIFA for the afternoon.
and then go home and do nothing.
Yeah.
And then at the weekend, he's not even a number, so he will not be in the squad.
Yeah.
So he's got weekends off. So when you put it like that, because I was on
Why
the thing
would
of
you
like,
wanna
oh,
go
I'd go to like Norwich or something. You'd be
Yeah,
the
yeah,
main
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
And I was like, but then when it was broke down, I thought,
How
hang
long's he
on.
got on his
When I'm
contract?
breaking it down, you've just told me how much he's earning.
How long's he on his contract?
I think he's got another couple of years. He signed a 6-year deal at Chelsea.
Wow. That's why
Bad
you still.
management.
That's why you still got Danny Drinkwater, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's doing exactly the same, surely.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
literally
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what? Just keep paying me the money.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's exactly what it is. Bakayoko as well. There's loads of them. I mean, Bakayoko at least is going out and he's playing in different clubs and stuff. But there's a different,
That is true.
because it's like, so to that degree, would you rather go to a club and win a load of stuff or stay at your boyhood club? And then you've got this other thing that happens. And you're like, well, we probably would stay at your boyhood club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know. Because eventually, what I'm trying to say with that Ross Barkley thing is not that it will happen, but it could. That Jack Grealish doesn't do so well there,
becomes nothing.
and just becomes like,
A Caribou Cup player.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Which
Guardiola
Ross
goes.
Barkley will not even be able to do because he hasn't got a
He
number.
hasn't got a number,
Which is mad.
Let's say he's got a number, but Grealish could do that. I don't think he's gonna. To be fair.
No, he won't. No. But that's, yeah. I don't know. It's madness, isn't it? Like, you're throwing like 100 million on. That's why you put them at that sort of players like Lukaku and Grealish, because you're sort of guaranteed that they're good players, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're guaranteed that they're good players.
What I'm surprised at is that Aston Villa have Danny Ings as their striker.
Great
And
signing.
I mean, Liverpool tried, and he obviously was injured, etc. He's not the right striker for Liverpool.
No.
But I'm surprised that he's gone from to Aston Villa. Like,
Yeah.
you just,
I honestly think. Well,
he'd be great at Arsenal. Like, we're talking about Arsenal. Why are Arsenal not buying
no,
Danny Ings?
Don't get that at all. I mean, Arsenal were like before Abraham went to Roma, were interested in Abraham. But if you're interested in Abraham, why not be interested in Danny Ings?
Why have you not bought a Danny Ings?
He's proven goal scorer.
Yeah.
Because I know he's like not maybe the most mobile, not this, but he scores goals. He knows he scores goals, and he's always scored goals in teams that have not been that good. Obviously, Liverpool didn't get much of a chance there, so it's hard to tell how you would do in a bigger team. You do get that sometimes people get tarnished and like, well, he doesn't work in a bigger team. So I don't know. Not that Villa aren't a big, but you know what I mean.
I know
like
what you mean.
A top like challenging.
He scored a cracking goal at the weekend, didn't he? It's brilliant.
But
he's
for 25 mil, that's a snip.
Yeah.
With the prices
especially
that players go
for Arsenal.
He's a guaranteed. He's going to get guaranteed him like
in
20 goals.
In an average squad, 20 goals.
Yeah, I'd say.
Well, in Southampton, he did brilliant at Southampton. You
Yeah,
wouldn't say they were like, great squad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's why. Yeah, that's why. Again, I made a bit of a rash thing about Southampton, but that's why, because they got rid of so many players. I was just like, I don't know how they're gonna cope with the rest of this.
How did they draw with Man United?
They actually played quite well second half. Yeah.
But
Man United didn't play very well at all.
Like Bruno didn't do anything. All the kind of talk of
this week actually justified my fantasy football, because last week I was in the doldrums of like, why did I not pick Salah? Why did I not pick Fernandes?
Yeah.
But then looking at their points this week,
and they got 3 points for Salah, so 6
Fernandes
points.
Got 2 points, just as in like just for playing, didn't do anything else.
Did nothing. Yeah.
Justified.
Who was your captain? Who did you have as captain?
Lukaku. I should have had Reece James as captain, because he got points.
Did you get him in your squad as well?
Yeah. He got 16 points, I think.
I just had
straight off.
All my points were on the bench, and Rafinha scored. He was on my bench.
I had him on the pitch. Mason Greenwood scored as well.
Simicast, I was like, he had clean sheet, got an assist, all that. That's 11 points, just sat on the bench.
You had him on a bench?
Put Shaw in. Thought Shaw would do loads. Got 2 points. I fucking hate fantasy football.
Yeah.
You can fuck off.
Do you know what's annoying is that I always want a squad where I've got choices, but then I realise actually I don't want choices, because I don't want to see any of these fuckers on the bench getting points, because it's going to really annoy me.
Yeah.
It's going to really annoy me.
You should just have a really shit bench.
Because I'll look at my defence and be like, he's got 1 point, he's got 2 points, the guy on the bench has got 14 points. How has this happened?
Yeah. It happens to me every single fucking time, and
and it's always a game where I'm like, Rico Henry I've had on the bench twice, because Brentford, they've been against Arsenal, they were against Palace this week, which is, I mean, I should have put him in, but I couldn't juggle it around. But he's got solid 6 points both times, which is you get 6 points from a player every week. Perfect.
And would you rather put him in or Shaw, who's got me 2 points?
Exactly.
And 2 points.
But I would have put Shaw in.
You'd have put Shaw in 100%.
All day long. Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get rid of Shaw. So this is my fantasy football tip: put Shaw in your team, because as soon as I get rid of someone, he's gonna start getting lots of points.
You're pulling the trigger quite early there.
No, as in I'm gonna put someone else in from my bench.
Oh, so you're gonna put him on the bench?
Yeah, I'm gonna put him on the bench.
Right. Who they got next?
I can't remember, but.
Well, check that first.
Liverpool, Chelsea. I was going to put Simicast in, but
because I might be taking Mendy out of goal this week. Just so I'm going for a strategy this year.
What do you think, Liverpool, Chelsea? Right? Okay, we'll get back to your strategy, but what do you think? Gut feeling. So it's
my gut feeling there was 1-1.
You think a draw?
My gut feeling was 1-1. Yeah. That was the first thing that popped into my head as soon as you said that.
Okay.
What's your gut feeling?
My gut feeling is Liverpool's going to win 2-1.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know.
I think defensively we're gonna cover you. We'll be all right. And I think Trent is playing on fire. He's passing brilliant.
Well, we'll see next week, won't we?
Van Dijk's looking good.
I honestly think it'll be a draw. I think it's too early in the season for us to be firing that good. I mean,
do you hope for a 4-3 or a bit of a?
Only if it goes our way.
All right, fair enough.
I don't want 4-3 the other way.
No one wants
You don't want to be
4-3.
conceding that many goals
No
and
one's
losing. Do you know what I
4-3
mean?
the other way.
You're right if you concede a load of goals and win, but now to be honest, no, I don't want a 4-3.
It's an interesting game.
I'd
Isn't
rather a boring 1-0 Chelsea.
Would you?
I'd rather watch a 4-3 in the game beforehand.
it? Is it?
Oh
Man U
no,
Arsenal.
this on the late
Is
one.
it
It's
Man U
like Man
Arsenal?
City Arsenal.
Man City Arsenal.
Which
that's
is not
it.
going to happen either. But I'd rather my team not be involved in these good games. Do you know what I mean? I get enough panic as it is just watching them.
I'll take a 2-0. Take a 2-0.
Yeah.
Nice
So would
and
I
easy.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take
I'd
a
take a 2-0.
yeah.
Chelsea though. Yeah.
Nah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. I'm intrigued.
It's a marker. It's a marker for
Well,
the
and
season.
not only that,
isn't it?
in September, annoyingly, there's a fucking international break after that. I think straight away, which is crazy. This early international break
it's
has
stupid.
pissed me off
Yeah.
for about 10 years now, however long it's been going on. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. But then we've got City and Spurs in September as well. So we've got
Yeah, you've got quite a heavy fixture kind of
but it's actually
marker for the season.
It's good
sort of.
though, in a way. I mean, sometimes it's good because Arsenal, you look at it on a flip side, like they should have got a point or so against Brentford. Maybe a draw against Chelsea, whatever they would have looked at, marked up, and now they got City. But if they go 3 games, no points, already 3 losses on the board. Because you think about it, it's 38 games, it's a long season. But when you've already got 3 losses after 3 games, it's tough. It's a tough one,
It's
isn't
tough,
it?
yeah.
It's a tough one to be of like, well, where's your aim at that point then? Because I've never really thought about it that way. But if you're like the sporting director or something like that, and you're like, our aim's here.
At the start of the season.
And our losses, we were aiming for these amount of losses. So you probably run down, and I assume that's what I would do. We'll get, you know, your maximum. You'd work your maximum minimum,
amount of
both
losses,
of them, and work a mean through the whole thing, or medium, whatever the thing was. What was it? Medium, mode.
Mode, mean, medium.
You'd work out that medium.
Yeah.
And then that's what you're aiming for. And already you're on your bottom line now.
Yeah.
Because you've lost 2 games where you would have put 3 on the first one. You would have put 1 optimistically on a second one.
Yeah.
And then again probably put 1 on the next one. And that's at your high end.
Yeah. 2 points out of 3. Yeah.
But then if you lose
If you get 0.
3 out of 3.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Spurs beat City, so
That'd be
Arsenal
interesting
could
to
beat
know
City.
whether the big teams do that actually.
Of course, someone's got to be doing that.
got to
Someone's got
forecast
to be doing
all the results and forecast where you should be.
that. But I mean, it's an easy job at City, isn't it?
Yeah.
3-3-3-3-3-3-3. Because they'd be like,
What do you mean? We should be winning it all.
yeah, exactly. Because if they put like a draw on one of them, it's like, what with this squad? What?
Are you fucking mental?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you have to. It has got to be someone who's got like a very analytical mind and think of all the scenarios, and that's quite interesting. I never really thought about it actually.
No, I've not.
But you would think about it on the worst and best case scenario. But worst or best case scenario, Arsenal would have been putting 3 points against that Brentford.
You would have thought.
Game.
Yeah.
Newly promoted
100%.
team.
They
Right.
should be beating them.
Yeah.
What's interesting? So I went to see Fulham against Hull at the weekend.
Did you enjoy it?
Went to Craven Cottage. Atmosphere was dire. Not from the Hull fans. I give the Hull fans a shout out. They were singing all the way through as away fans. Fulham
Richard
fans.
Osman's going to be furious.
I got to say, there was a chant that I really enjoyed, which was, "Is this a library?" You know, it's not new, but is this a library?
I was going to say, I was expecting a
Is
new
this
one
a
there.
library?
Come on, Wragg, that's been around a while.
And then the shh.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I like that.
But wasn't
I enjoyed that.
Didn't you say this one of the stands?
There was a
is
whole
like-
stand out of contention. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the
fair.
rebuilding.
And was that one
whatever.
right next to the Hull fans as well?
Well, it was along the side, like, you know, it was a whole
Oh yeah.
big long stand. However, they won 2-0. If we were 1-0
They
up,
won 2-0 win a library.
I mean, you'd chant a little bit, wouldn't you? You'd be happy at that.
Yeah.
It was dire. The atmosphere was dire, and it's such a small pitch. I thought it'd be really great. I thought it'd be bouncing, but no, it's a bit dire. But Hull, and my mate said this, like, so it's weird. Hull looked like a team coming from Division 1, because they are. Fulham look like a team dropping down from the Premiership because they are.
Yeah.
And when you get that clash, you actually see
the difference.
A gulf in class. Like you really do.
Was it quite visible?
Like really visible. Like you.
Well, you got to think
you
some
can
of
see
those
the different
some of
levels
those Fulham
going
players on a like you said on a different level, right?
Totally.
They must be.
100%. Like I mean, to be fair,
you got that like Cavallero that was at Wolves. I mean, I don't even think he gets in the Fulham 11, but he came off the bench or something, didn't he? But it's like you've got players that have played in the Premier League for like a long time.
Hull fans were shouting, "You fat bastard" to Mitrovic. I was looking at him going, "You fucking beast!" Like he just looks physically like different class to everyone else.
Does never do it in the Premier League. Another one of them,
and I felt
he's
sorry.
He's a proper championship striker.
He is a championship. I felt sorry for Hull because they were playing well. Then a corner got given away, gets taken in, and you can see a player literally get fouled. Taken out of the way, that space becomes clear. Mitrovic steals a header, goal.
Was that with your Hull tinted glasses on there?
No Hull tinted glasses, just watching football glasses.
Was it not the vibe of all the fans?
No.
And you're like, oh, that's a foul, and the guy literally just fell over.
I was the first person to shout foul.
Have you seen it again though?
I've not.
Oh,
I would like to watch it.
This would be interesting.
I would like to.
Can you watch it and then next week?
I'll tell you.
Let us know if it was as blatant as you thought.
In real life, in real time, it was blatant.
But the thing is, the only reason
you're screaming out for VAR.
Was it?
Directly behind the goal.
Oh, okay, so it was in front of you.
Directly behind the goal.
Okay, because I've been at games where I've been behind the opposite goal, and you see something, and you're like, that's a blatant fact. And then you watch the replay, and you're like,
oh, maybe not.
Actually, maybe not.
No, 100% right in front of me. And, I mean, I've got, other than the fact that my mate supports Hull, and I was there kind of half-arse supporting Hull, I didn't really care.
It's not the attitude, is it? It should have been 100%.
No, I was there for a good time.
yeah.
But it infuriated me because I was like, how the fuck have no one seen this? How's the linesman not seen this? How's the referee not seen this? I fucking see this. He's just flattened the guy.
That's what VAR's for, isn't it?
Exactly. VAR's not involved. He's just flattened the guy, and then he scored. And then Hull's heads went down, and it was. Do
you think there should be a homemade VAR? Like a
voting system on your phone.
The fans are on the phone. Go and look at his phone. Look at this. He's
I would love that. I would love that. But I just think, they were unlucky. The head went down, and then when the second goal went in, you were like, they're not going to score two.
They were never coming back from it.
They were never coming back from it. No. And I do fear.
But was it nice to see live football again, though?
100%.
Yeah,
it was good. Getting into the stadium, kind of that buzz of being around a crowd. Well, I said to you, it's lovely to hear so many arsey people watching football, just saying how shit their team is.
Yeah.
Literally just looking at their team going, how the fuck is he playing? Oh, he's shit. And if he scores a goal, they're like, wow, I knew he should be on the pitch.
Yeah.
All the voices around you.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
It was great.
It's great to hear. I mean, it's better to hear. That's better when it's not your team.
Yeah.
When it's your team, it's quite infuriating.
Yeah. It would have annoyed me. Will you shut up, moaning bastard?
Yeah.
But because it wasn't my team,
it's quite funny.
I loved all the characters. I loved all the kind of some of the women that were just looking up at their husbands going, he's fucking shit, isn't he? And the husband's there just kind of going, yeah, he's fucking shit, isn't he? That dynamic was just brilliant.
What have you got in common? We both think he's shit.
We both think he's fucking shit. Yeah, I did quite enjoy it. But I don't know whether Hull will do well this season. I can see them dropping.
No, I don't think they will. I think there's worse in that league. I think
they'll be in about it, but they're not going to challenge to get back in the Premier League.
No.
That's all I'm going to say. They haven't got the squad or the player.
I don't think so. I don't think
to get back in the Premier League.
You're hard pushed to look past the ones that have been up there. It's not often that new ones get through. I mean, Brentford finally, but they've always been there and thereabouts in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And what was
I'd
it
be
last
very
year?
surprised.
Who was
Very
it? Norwich
surprised.
went up, and I don't remember who the other one is now.
Brentford, Norwich, and
Who was second? Norwich won it. They were second. They went straight up.
Oh, don't do this to me, you fucker. What have you done?
This always happens. There's always a
Always.
team in the Premier League that you forget.
Brighton? No.
No, they've been there for ages now.
Who is it?
Watford.
Watford.
Fuck. Watford's always one of them teams.
Jesus.
But yeah, there's always you can tell there's certain squads that'll always be. I mean, I'd be surprised if Bournemouth aren't there and thereabouts.
Yeah.
Fulham again. Like it's hard to tell. With I feel like Swansea may be going a bit backwards, so I don't think they'll go back. West Brom. You know, it does get a bit sort of.
Bit yo-yo.
Yeah,
basically.
you do. You do. So you can pick it out. You can't pick it out week to week.
No.
Otherwise, they'd be winning bets.
Yes.
But
How's your bet's been going on, mate?
Shit. No, actually not bad. I mean, QPR fucked me over in the first game, the first one of the season, which I should have known because as a Chelsea fan, QPR are going to fuck you over. But I think QPR, I saw enough of them last year to feel that they'll do well this year. And I mean, they were like two down at the weekend and come back to 2-2, which I didn't bet on them this time because they kicked off early, which is good. But yeah, they let down one of my first bets.
Yeah.
And then I had one go in that was like should have cashed out at half time. I was waiting on Salford and someone else, and then you know when you're waiting on one or two, and then the other ones turn.
And then you're like,
oh, you God!
Yeah.
Now I'm waiting on 4 again.
Yeah.
Because like Bournemouth, I think they let in got a couple of goals, so they were at a draw at one point, so that fucked it. I don't even know if they won in the end, because I stopped looking.
Yeah.
Because one of the other teams went down so much that I was like, oh fuck this.
Yeah, it's annoying. Right. Anyway, I will say, join us next week. Mr. Berry should be back from Scotland.
Yeah.
Hopefully. And
Isn't it episode 200 next week?
this is episode 199.5.
Why?
Because 200 has to be together.
Okay. No, we just make 201.
No, this is 200.
201 201st anniversary.
It just doesn't sound right to me.
Well, why not?
Okay, fine.
This is 200.
This is episode 200, mate.
I
We've
thought
done
the last
two-
one we did was 98 though.
No, 199.
Ah.
This is episode 200 of The Football Humans, season 5. We've been doing this for 5 years. Thanks a lot for listening. It's been great having you along with us. Not that we're ending. That sounded like we're ending.
5 years.
5 years of talking shit about football.
Lots of pints.
Yeah. On next week's, we'll tot up how many pints we had over those 5 years, and
yeah. Well, we'll have
see if
to
we can get it
do
in.
like we'll do a quiz to mark the 200, but it might not be the 200th episode. Well, it won't be.
Yeah.
Apparently, this one is.
So yeah, we'll do the 200th episode quiz in
Maybe
episode
in
202
210 or something. I mean, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that note, we'll see you soon.